On this episode of Customer States, we have a PlayStation 5 Slim. Customer is saying is overheating. And the HDMI port is broken as well. So we see the heat sinks are clogged up and the fan itself is pretty bad as well. So I guess let's take a look at the liquid metal on the APU side and the HDMI port as well. See what's going on. Liquid metal looks decent. Looks like it's pooling on the heatsink side here. It's pooling up towards the bottom. Customer probably has it standing upright instead of laying down on its side. And then here we have the HDMI port itself. That looks a little bit crooked, maybe just a tiny bit. So this definitely needs to be replaced. Liquid metal, we should just spread it back out and the customer should be fine. In terms of the overheating issue itself, we'll end up taking out the entire heat sink assembly as well as the power supply, which lives right under there, and clean everything out, clean the fan out, and it should be good to go. Now that we have the port off, we can take a look at the pins, make sure that none of the pads or traces are ripped, and go from there. Looks like everything seems to be okay. Even the tiny resistor, or the tiny capacitor, is behind the HDMI port right there, is good. So we'll go ahead and put it under the microscope, get fresh solder on all of these pins and anchor points here, and we will go from there in installing the new port. All right, now we're under the scope. See, we have some fresh solder on the anchor points and all of the pins. These anchor points right here, it kind of just looks like blobs, but when we have the actual hot air station blowing on this thing, it will even out, fill out the hole properly, and we should be all set to go. So we'll go ahead and put a new port on this thing and go from there. All right, now we have some flux on there. You can see a little bit of heat. Everything seems to be forming nicely. So let's go ahead and get this port on here and get this working again. All right, we have the new port on there. Everything looks good, seems to be in line. Now we basically just check and make sure that each one of these pins right here don't move at all. None of these are moving. I checked them previously as well. A lot of shops, what they'll do is they'll just stop here. They see that all the pins are connected. They'll just call it good to go. What we like to do is just go through and add a little bit more solder on each one of the pads, and this front area right here, just make sure that the pins are anchored, because I know, if some kids are traveling or whatnot with this thing, we don't want pins to come up at all. So we just go ahead and add a little bit more solder, make sure everything is secure, make sure it goes from the bottom to the top of the pin itself, and clean everything up and get it back to the customer. All right, now we got the heatsink and power supply all cleaned out, got the inner case all cleaned out as well. So we are ready to put everything back together and test it and make sure everything's all good. And here's the moment of truth. Everything's back together. Turn this thing on, and boom, there we go. So now all we have to do, since everything's cleaned out and the port is replaced, liquid metal was checked, we just have to test this out for about an hour to an hour and a half, and we would be all set to go.